good afternoon, and welcome to the very first 1 o'clock p.m. live Impact news stream of 2026. Now, it is 1:03 p.m. We are a little bit late here today for you guys. We've got a couple of technical things that we're working on. You got to start the new year with some technical glitches because then there's nowhere to go but up when it comes to all of your equipment and the smoothness of our stream. And it wouldn't be live Impact News without a couple of twists and turns and road bumps that we have to work our way over. And we will continue to do that throughout the 2 hours of bringing you all of the most breaking, most impactful news that you need to know. Right here in Hampton Roads, the 757, nationally, all around the United States, and of course, globally as well when the time calls for it. Now, it's interesting because a lot of people have had the last 2 days off, or at least yesterday off. Today kind of has Monday vibes for me. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but it is in fact a Friday. We have nearly reached the end of the first sort of half week of the new year. And it's nice to be in here on a Friday, get one more day to hang out with you guys before going back to another weekend after the holiday season has concluded. Now, of course, we are here with the People's producer, Nia Campbell, on the ones and twos. Nia, you've already been working hard this afternoon. How's everything going?
It's going good. It's good to be back. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year to you as well, Nia. And if we have time in the stream, maybe we'll dig into some of our New Year festivities. But for now, we have a very special guest with us here this morning via Zoom, or this afternoon, excuse me, who is here to talk to us about all things health and wellness. Dr. Jaden Cole-Miskell is in the house. You know him if you're a regular viewer of the stream here. Dr. Jaden, how are you today?
I'm good. What's up, Connor?
Not a whole lot. We have you on, and we've had you on a few times here. We've talked about a lot of different topics. Having you on today is sort of based around what time of year it is, because when the new year comes along, everybody has a renewed focus on sort of health, wellness, exercise. A new year seems to be an ideal time for people to decide to jump into a lifestyle improvement or to jump into some changes. Sometimes it's a New Year's resolution. Other times it's just a decision to treat the new year with a little bit more care for your body. It seems to be a trend. Everybody knows about how the gyms are more crowded on January 1st. It's a known cliche. When you kind of hear about this sort of trend of people using the new year to become ambitious about their health, wellness, and physical fitness, what kind of passes through your head? What are your thoughts on that concept?
I like the intent. I think the intentions are good, but it doesn't really last. We see this gym surge fizzle out maybe by week 3, and the diets are done probably sooner than that. So I'm not a proponent of diets, so I would rather just try something healthier and be realistic and sustainable. So I would go into that. Uh,
Yeah, and
versus the diets.
and you and I have talked about diets before. You don't use that word. You prefer not to label things that way. I'm wondering, when it comes to both the diets and maybe the New Year exercise plans, why do you think it tends to fizzle out before January is even over?
I think with the exercise, I think people are intimidated by the gyms, and especially if you haven't gone in a while and you go to somewhere like a Planet Fitness at this time of the year, it's going to be packed. You're going to be having a hard time finding equipment to use. You're going to have to wait. People aren't wiping down their equipment. So and then it's flu season, so there'll be a bunch of people in there coughing, sneezing, and then it's intimidating. So I think that's one of the big reasons, and especially if you don't really know what you're doing, or if you're just apprehensive about some of the machinery.
It's interesting. That concept is sort of paradoxical, right? Where you decide, okay, I'm going to start going to the gym so I can get healthier, and then maybe you come home with the flu after 3 or 4 days. It kind of had the reverse
Yeah.
effect. We've got questions to get to here, but I do want to stay on what we've been talking about just briefly. You talk about people going to the gym and being intimidated, and you kind of stop before you can even start. If they were to ask you, Dr. Jaden, how can I avoid sort of that break, right? How do I keep this going? What would be your tips to people to make sure that if they start that sort of gym routine, they don't stop, that they're able to keep it going through 2026?
Oh, you need a plan. So even before you go to the gym, you need a plan, and so you should know what you're going to do before you get there. And there's apps that help you with that. So there's fitness tracker apps. You should always keep track of what you're going to do and what you actually end up doing as far as like your reps and your sets. So if you have that planned out before you go to the gym, you're more focused. You're not overwhelmed by all the machinery. So you come in there, say you want to do some stair stepping, and then maybe jump on the rower. If you have that planned ahead of time, you know exactly what you're doing. You come in, you beeline to the stair stepper. Good luck with that at this time of year, but yeah, beeline to the stair stepper, and then you go to the row, and you know what you're looking for. You know what you're waiting on. You know how many sets you're going to do and how many reps, and that takes a little anxiety out of it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think the stair stepper might be the number one New
Yeah,
Year's like exercise machine. For some reason, if you're getting back into
yeah.
the gym or you're just getting started at the gym, that stair stepper is a very, very popular kind of spot to
Uh,
go to.
it's
Yeah,
all
I
about
don't know.
booty, Connor. It's the
It's
booty.
all about booty. We are already checking phrases off of our 2026 bingo card that I did not think we would hear on Live Impact News. It's all about booty. That stair stepper is very, very crowded in early January, but make sure you have a plan if you want to do stair stepping all the way through 2026. Now, on top of the exercise, like you said, people also want to try new eating habits, new eating lifestyles, and they want to treat 2026 as a reformation of sort of their food intake. If the goal is weight loss, right? So if somebody says, okay, in by the end of 2026, I want to be down a certain number of pounds. What are the safe and sustainable ways to go about that, as opposed to, again, maybe being too extreme right in the beginning and then it fizzles out?
If the goal is weight loss, I think you need to do a little more research. So the weight comes in many different forms. So if you're in the gym, you might lose some pounds at the beginning, and mostly that's going to be due to water weight. But if you're serious and you're making some gains, you're going to actually start to gain weight because you'll start building muscle. And so losing weight shouldn't be the goal. Like that's the overall theme and that's what people understand, but you want to burn fat. I think most people want to burn fat. And so that's a different mindset. So just because you gain some more weight, you might look a lot better though, because you're going to be more toned, you'll have more muscles and you'll feel healthier, but you might stay stagnant or you might stay around the same weight if you're coming, as an average person. So I say we switch that phrase to burning fat, and then there's ways to do that. And surprisingly, it doesn't start in the gym. It starts in the kitchen.
Yeah, and for the conversations we've had with you in the past, that is not surprising for us to hear from Dr. Jaden. It starts in the kitchen is a refrain that we
Yes.
seem to come back to fairly often. I people talk about losing weight, and I think maybe part of the reason that sticks is because it's very easy to track. You step on the scale, and you're able to see a simple sort of subtraction or addition when it comes to weight. If people do want to take your advice and focus on burning fat, what's a way they can track that? How can you keep an eye on that and sort of track your progress?
Well, you should take pictures of yourself. So
Mm.
I have my patients take pictures every week, and so I can show them the differences, even if they are gaining weight or if they're staying around the same weight. I can show them that the fat is coming off. And then some of these top end scales, they don't cost that much, maybe like 25. There's some Renfros that you can get that will track your lean mass and your body fat composition. So these scales are getting more high tech, just like your phone. So it's not just about pounds anymore. So
And
there's multiple ways to do that.
yeah, absolutely. Is there any particular app that you use when it comes to tracking your fitness? I've seen a couple different people with a couple different apps from their phone. Any one that you would suggest, or is that something that's kind of still worth exploring a little more?
Well, I mean, any of the sponsors can come on and throw their apps at us, but
That's right. Hey, Dr. Jaden,
yeah,
he's more media ready than you would have ever. I've each interview we've had at least one moment where you kind of you did our jobs for us a little bit. That's right. With no free
yeah.
shout outs here on Live
No
Impact
free
News.
shout
Now,
outs. No free.
there's a question here that kind of covers such a broad range, and so I want to ask it to you, and you can take it wherever you'd like. And that question is, how should nutrition advice differ? And we'll say nutrition and fitness advice differ based on age, lifestyle, or medical conditions. Very broad. Take it wherever you'd like.
Well, so the average person tries to train like an athlete, and a lot of the health advices out there is for athletes. Or if you see an athlete trying to market, their workout, or if you're trying to follow Thor's workout for getting ready for the Marvel movie, like Chris Hemsworth, yeah, Hemsworth. So you have to understand he doesn't walk around like that for the movie. He gets like that for that movie and for Thor, and then he looks normal when he's walking around. I mean, he still looks great, but he doesn't look like Thor today. So you're not going to be able to do Thor's workout if you're just starting out. You're gonna tear your muscles up, and you're gonna be out of the gym for like 6 weeks due to injury. So what you really want to do is think about what works for you, what age you're at, are you male or female? All of these things matter. So if you're just an average Joe, you want to start off with baby steps. Do your research, get into the gym. Like I said, plan, just get a fitness tracker. So a lot of things that I see a lot of people come in, they do their reps, they do their sets, and they don't see improvement after 6 months because they're not tracking what they do. You want to keep increasing. So each time you do, like, say you're bench pressing, that next month, you shouldn't be doing what you did the month before that. You should be increasing the weight or at least increasing the reps. This is how your body adapts. So as your body's going to get used to what you've been doing. And so it's going to say, well, we can bench 135. We've been doing that all year. So there's no need for me to get stronger. And that's how your body works. It's just going to be like, well, we can handle this, so there's no need for me to get stronger. So you have to keep putting weights on there or add more reps, and then you'll see the increasing the gains. And so that trackers are important. You have to have a tracker. You can't just go into the gym and just work out. That
I
that
think,
that's defeating the point.
yeah, it's great advice. I want to kind of stay on that very briefly. I'll use myself as an example. I have a specific lift that I started doing not too long ago. I won't say the amount of weight, but I did exactly what you said. I put on a certain amount of weight, and each week I was seeing that on my final set, I was able to get to a certain point, and each week there was growth in that final point. And I have, over the course of the last 3 weeks, hit a wall. I am not able to get any more weight on that thing. Is that normal? And is that something where
Yeah.
stay with it? And after a certain period of time, you will be able to start adding weight again?
So when you hit that wall, say you're doing bench pressing, you have to think about, okay, so you've hit a wall. You can either add another rep instead of weights, so do baby steps, or then train the accessory muscles. So do a variation of the exercise that you're doing because those muscles that stabilize it or help or assist, they're not getting worked as much as the primary ones. So if you're doing bench press, maybe add an incline or a decline to your routine. And then when you go back to your normal flat bench, you'll see improvements.
Okay, I gotcha. So make some slight variations, work
Mhm.
different, what did you call them? Supplementary muscles, surrounding muscles?
Accessory muscles. Yeah,
Accessory
accessories.
muscles. Okay, very good.
Mhm.
And I also want to talk about cardio versus weightlifting. If you are lifting high rep, low weight, is that a sufficient form of cardio?
Yes. If you're sweating, you're doing cardio.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be whatever your grandma defines cardio as. If you're sweating, you're doing cardio. So
Uh, yeah.
high reps, low weight. I think that's how you should start to avoid injuries. And also, if you're older, you need to be doing high reps, low weight. It's better for your joints. Your tendons don't like to grow back really quickly. So if you tear those, you're going to be out for a while. And if you haven't been in the gym for a while, you want to start slow. I think one of the things too that I see at this time of year is that people come in and they look at their neighbor and they're like, well, I used to be able to bench what Connor's benching. So I kind of want to, jump on that so I can talk to him about it, but you're not ready for it. And so you don't warm up enough and you end up tearing something and then you have to sit out for 6 months. So anytime you go in there, you need to work out, warm up before your workout. And your warm up is the same workout that you're doing. You could get on the treadmill first. What I like to do is if I'm going to bench press, I like to just bench press with no weight. So I'll do a whole set of just no weight before I throw any weight on there. And that'll be my warm up for a bench press. Um,
And you did have one sentence in there that I take issue with, and I think Naya caught it as well. Is no one has ever said, "Oh, I wish I could bench press as much as Connor's doing." That's not a sentence that you hear very often. Other than that, spot on. I'm wondering something that I have had people tell me who are not experts is that if you're tracking your cardio, if you're tracking your fat burning, heart rate matters a lot. You want to be above a certain heart rate to hit that sort of ideal work where you actually are going to be burning fat and improving your fitness. Where do you fall on that? Is that accurate?
yeah, yeah. So if you want to burn fat, you definitely want to be in like a zone two cardio. It depends on how much time you have. So if you have an hour or 2 hours you could walk and you can burn fat. You just have to be consistent. And so once your body runs out of energy, it has to get it from somewhere. So it a lot of things factor into whether you're going to burn fat or not. One of the things is, did you eat breakfast? If you had a meal before your workout, your body will use that energy from that meal you just ate. And then it's going to use that instead of the fat. If you haven't eaten breakfast or you didn't eat before your workout, then your body doesn't have anywhere else to get energy from. So it's going to start burning fat quicker. So this is like fasted cardio. So you will see gains quicker if you do your cardio while fasting. And so instead of working out for 2 hours, which most of us don't have, you can do 30 minutes and still see the same effect. So all of this comes into play. Um,
Yeah,
that's why I
and
said it
that's
starts in the kitchen.
it starts in the kitchen, and that's something that we actually talked about last time. Is the intermittent fasting, the benefits, and sort of how to approach that. And so I'll maybe add on and correct me if any part of this is wrong. Is we know that maybe some people will hear that advice. They'll say, "Hey, well, I go into the gym and I get hungry, and it impacts my workout." But I believe, as you told us, your body needs to get used to any sort of new steps
Yes.
that you take in terms of lifestyle. And so if you decide to start working out fasted, you may be hungry in the beginning, but your body will adjust and eventually it'll start to work for you when it comes to fat burning. Is that well said?
Exactly. Yeah. So don't start this off, especially if you're a newbie. Don't try to do some fasted cardio or do some squats on a fast right away. Your body's not used to that. You might crash out and get dizzy. Your body has to adapt to what you're doing. So just start with the fasting first before you go to the gym. And then once your body's used to you not eating breakfast, then you can try to do some workouts. But then you want to start small still, like on a treadmill or a rower or something with like not a lot of weight, like low weight, high
Hmm.
reps. And then see how your body adapts for that. So do like maybe 30 minutes the first time, and then you can increase your time based on how you feel.
Yeah, it's there's no rush. You got to allow your body to adjust. Especially we talk about New Year's resolutions. As you jump into these things, take it slow, allow your body to adjust, stay dedicated, and you can kind of start to make some of the changes that you want to make. I want to go back to something you said a little bit earlier, talking about Chris Hemsworth, talking about him looking like Thor, and the fact that he doesn't walk into the grocery store every day looking that way. Having had some conversations with you last time you were here, I know that you also have you have a passion for pop culture, movies and television. I'm wondering, do you feel like here in 2025 there is a certain standard of build that is presented to us, especially in those superhero movies and things like that? Do you feel as though that has had a negative impact on people's self-image and maybe on people's ability to get into regular shape because they don't see themselves looking like Thor and they think, oh, what's the point? As opposed to just saying, no, you're making progress. You are looking as good as you should look as somebody who's walking around, kind of living a normal life, if you will.
Of course.
Yeah.
So those Marvel guys have trainers. They have trainers that make six figures that come in and they work with these guys every day, twice a day. If I had that, I would look like Thor as well. I mean, I'm close to Thor. I mean, sure you can tell.
Yeah.
But those guys have those trainers and they have that food. They have nutritionists. They have chefs. They have people watching their blood, all of that stuff we don't have as like the normal person. So for you to want to look like that and try to have that as your goal or as your standard is kind of ridiculous. I think with social media, it affects men and women. I've seen women destroying their organs with the waist trainers and or Ozempic and some of the pictures on the Instagram, they're not even real pictures. It's AI. And so you're trying to look like something that's not even real. And so that goes into our culture and everyone's trying to find a standard that's not even sustainable or is not even real in the first place. And so that kind of like if that'll do some stuff to your self-esteem if you're trying to go to the gym and you've been working out for a year or 6 months and you don't see yourself looking like that Instagram robot. That'll give you some depression maybe, or that'll discourage you from even going, the next month. So I think we have unrealistic standards, and like you said, it is causing a problem, especially with the teenagers.
Yeah, it's and we talk about going again, sort of staying on this theme of a new year, new me type of philosophy. If you do stick it through January, through February, and you're looking in the mirror and you're wondering why you don't look like someone you saw on Instagram or Thor, that's, that can be detrimental. That's not the comparison that you want to use. As you said, you could take pictures of yourself to track your progress, or you could just, do you feel good? Do you have good energy? Those types of things are another way that you can kind of, am I where I need to be with my fitness and my lifestyle, rather than, watching one of the Marvel movies. I personally I just want to look as good as Ant-Man. That's really my goal. If I can get to Ant-Man levels, then I'll feel good about my spot. I want to stick with the social media thing very, very briefly here. I know that when I scroll through social media now, I get all sorts of pages that are giving me wellness advice and are giving me exercise advice. And it is a wide range. Some of them will say, you don't ever need to do cardio. And then a couple pages later, it will say, you need to do 100% cardio. And I know that both of those things can't be true. At least they both can't be true for me. They're total opposites. So how does someone parse through all of this information to find the stuff that is productive for them, especially when it comes to social media and unverified pages all over the place, and pages that will make their information sound very convincing?
I think to keep it simple, you want to look for how you feel after you read that information. So if you feel anxious, then you need to unfollow. Or the person gave you that information, were they fear mongering or were they talking pathophys? Were they explaining how the body works or were they trying to scare you? And so that's the simplest way I can say how to differentiate what you should be listening to. So if they explain the body, if they explain the pathophys, and this is how the body works, this is how it uses this, and you feel educated after listening versus you feeling afraid, feeling anxious, feeling like you need to run and buy this product right away. So that's how I would disseminate my information,
That's
just
great
on that
advice.
basis.
Yeah, great advice. That's actually, I've never heard that viewpoint on it before. Take a moment, self reflect, because a lot of times, this is algorithmic and it's strategic. And so these videos will have certain triggers to elicit a reaction in you or in the viewer. And oftentimes that reaction will, in their optimal situation, lead to a purchase of some kind. So I think that is excellent advice. I really, really appreciate that answer. We actually have our thing that just came up on our screen about the Zoom ending. Every time we have you, I feel like we keep you too long. This has been awesome this morning. We appreciate you joining us as always. That turn of the new year, there is a renewed focus on health, wellness, and fitness, and that is fantastic as long as it is done smartly and efficiently and thoughtfully. Is there anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No, just like there's gonna be people who also do the gym and they try to join like detoxes and stuff. So I wanted to say that your body will detox itself. It's called your liver and your kidneys. So we already do that. So you don't really need a detox. Those aren't the best things for you. They end up making you lose muscle over fat, which nobody wants, and it actually slows your metabolism down. So look out for those. There's some slogans you want to look out for, is such as doctors don't want you to know this. We do want you to know this. It helps us. It makes our job easier. So we would never not want you to know something. We don't gain anything for you not knowing. Um, or this works for everyone. That's not true for anything. Everyone's different. You have to know what works for you. So that's another slogan I would look for. Special teas, moon dust, fairy pixels, all of that stuff, good vibes. That stuff doesn't really work. So they're just trying to sell you stuff. There is no easy way. So that's the overall theme. You have to put in work for this. There's no shortcut. There's no magic pill. And so if anyone's promising that, then they're lying to you.
Okay, fantastic. And Naya, do you have any questions for Dr. Jaden before we let him go?
I do have a quick question.
Naya,
Hey, how are you? So, for the people who have not been in the gym for like months or even years, is there a specific like amount of days they should go out of the week, or does it depend on the person?
oh, I would just do once a week. And so I would do once a week, and my advice would be go at like noon because there will be less people there. So you have the morning people and then the after work people. So if you go between like 1 and 2, you should be able to get on the machine. Maybe the stair stepper is available for you.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Jaden, you're the best. We always appreciate it when you stop by. I'm sure we'll see you again before long. And congrats on Michigan hiring a coach who has some good experience and get some stability
Yeah,
going over there in Ann Arbor.
yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Jaden. You're the
All right.
best.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so Dr. Jaden, always a treat when we get to have him on. That's the third or fourth time we've been able to have him on over the course of the last year, and always awesome advice. And again, new year, right? There are all of those resolutions, and a lot of times it involves health, wellness, and the gym. Try to take some of what Dr. Jaden said to heart in terms of the best way to approach those things. It's awesome to have those resolutions. Want to approach them in the smartest, most sustainable way possible. I know that every time that we talk to Dr. Jaden, I come away with some advice that I kind of try to take into my own life as much as I can. So a special guest to start off our first stream of 2026 here on Live Impact News. Now, we want to get to a press conference that was actually filmed earlier on in the day. This was mid-morning or so. The Department of Justice held a press conference to talk about a potential terrorist attack in North Carolina that was thwarted by the FBI on New Year's Eve. So let's listen in on that press conference and see what more details we can learn about a thwarted attack by the FBI on New Year's Eve in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Year, although it came very close to not being such a happy new year for a lot of people this year. I'm here to announce, in partnership with the Mint Hill Police Department and the FBI, that we have foiled a terrorist attack that was planned to take place on New Year's Eve in Mint Hill, North Carolina. Now, New Year's Eve, we all know, is a wonderful time where we all celebrate the past year, we look forward to and plan the next year, and everyone deserves to do that, to celebrate the new year without being concerned about their personal safety. And thanks to the law enforcement that stands with me today and others, we are fortunate that people can do that. The FBI, the Mint Hill Police Department, the New York Police Department worked around the clock on this matter, not just building a case for us, but surveilling the subject and making sure the public was safe at every moment, including Christmas Day. They worked around the clock on this, and I very much appreciate it. The defendant here lived in Mint Hill. The planned attack was to take place in Mint Hill. I want to thank Chief Joe Hatley of the Mint Hill Police Department for being with me here today and for your work over the holidays, Chief. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you know Jim Barnacle by now. He's the special agent in charge of the FBI for North Carolina. The FBI worked tirelessly on this case, and I can't thank you enough for that. FBI agents spent their Christmas Day surveilling a subject so that families in Charlotte and Mint Hill and Western North Carolina could spend their day celebrating with their families, and I'm very thankful for that. That is true public service. If you see a police officer or an FBI agent, please thank them for spending their holidays on this so that we all could spend our holidays with our families. I also want to thank the prosecutors in my office who also worked over the holidays getting a search warrant and an arrest warrant and making sure that the public was safe and that this terrorist attack was foiled. The defendant here is an 18-year-old named Christian Sturdivant. He has been planning this attack for about a year, but he's been planning an attack for far longer than that. He was planning this attack in support of ISIS, and we have charged him with attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization, that organization being, of course, ISIS. Now, this is still very much an active investigation. We had to act quickly here to protect the public, so we are light on details, but we'll tell you as much as we can, and Mr. Barnacle will probably tell you more than I will about those charges, but I thought I would give you an overview of what's in the federal complaint and the charges that we charged. So Mr. Sturdivant started on the internet. He started reading ISIS material, started going to ISIS websites, making TikTok videos, and eventually reached out to what he thought was a member of ISIS. In reality, was an undercover agent with NYPD in New York. He pledged his allegiance to ISIS with that undercover agent, and he disclosed his plans to, quote, do jihad soon. He then met a second undercover with the FBI, who he also thought was an ISIS participant, and he started to be very specific with his plans. He talked with that undercover agent, again, who he thought was ISIS. He talked about where he was planning to do this attack, which was at a grocery store and a fast food restaurant in Mint Hill, places that we go every day and don't think that we may be harmed. He talked about what means he would use to kill innocent people. He said he was going to wear a Kevlar vest and attack people with knives and hammers. And of course, he talked about when he was going to carry out this attack, which was New Year's Eve. A time when American life is on full display, right? We're all out there in crowds celebrating all that has happened this year, all that is to come, that we are so proud of. And that is when he planned his attack to attack that American way of life. The FBI executed a search warrant at his home, and they found the instrumentalities of the attack. They found hammers and knives hidden under his bed. They found notes where he planned his attack and detailed his attack, and plans for how he was going to carry out this attack. It was a very well-planned, thoughtful attack that he had planned and that was fortunately foiled here. He was preparing for jihad, and innocent people were going to die, and we're very, very fortunate they did not. But the fact that along the way, in this extensive planning of this attack, he encountered not one, but two undercover officers should make the public feel very, very good and very safe. Because law enforcement is out there every day, and we know they have a lot to do. But they have people out there making sure that as people plan these terrorist attacks, they have stops so they find it. And they did find it here. And on Christmas, while we were all opening presents, they were sitting in a driveway making sure that the public was safe. And we're very, very appreciative of that. Mr. Sturtevant was arrested on New Year's Eve, the day he planned his attack. Of course, it did not become public today. It has been under seal until today. He made his initial appearance in federal court this morning, about an hour ago, and this case is now moving through the judicial process. So he will have a preliminary hearing after that and a detention hearing, and of course we will seek that he remain detained, but that's up to a federal judge on that issue. He faces a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years. But as I always tell you, every individual defendant gets a sentencing hearing where a judge takes into account a host of factors under the United States sentencing guidelines. They look at that individual defendant. The judge, he or she, looks at that individual defendant and makes a decision on sentencing. So we don't know what the ultimate sentence will be here. Originally, and I think it is notable, as part of their efforts, the FBI took Mr. Sturtevant to a state magistrate judge to try to have him involuntarily committed. And that was because he had threatened not only other people's lives, but in the process said that he planned to die by a policeman shooting him. So he had threatened other people's lives and self-harm, but the state magistrate judge denied involuntary commitment. Fortunately, the FBI did not give up then and continued to build a federal case and get the evidence they needed to charge him and detain him and keep everyone safe on New Year's Eve. And I'm very, very thankful for that because countless lives were saved here. On New Year's Eve, everyone is at the grocery store. We're all buying the things we need to celebrate, and we could have had a significant loss of life and significant injury here. So we will be here at the federal level dedicated to making sure the public is safe like we were in this case. And I know that there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that's never public for investigative reasons, and it's very it brings me satisfaction to be able to tell the public what law enforcement is doing when you don't know it and what's going on behind the scenes to keep everyone safe. So with that, I will turn it over to Special Agent in Charge Barnacle, who could tell you a little bit more about the details.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson, and thank you, Chief Hatley from the Mint Hill Police Department for your partnership in this investigation. My name is James Barnacle. I am the Special Agent in charge of the FBI here in North Carolina. Christian Sturtevant pledged his loyalty to ISIS and committed himself to killing Americans on New Year's Eve. This investigation unfolded quickly. From the moment the FBI was notified of a potential threat of a terrorist-inspired attack in North Carolina, we went all hands on deck. We assessed the credibility of the threat. The investigation lasted about 2 weeks, included numerous investigative techniques, partnerships with law enforcement agencies, and cooperation from the American public. This Christmas, the FBI and our partners worked to protect the American people. We did not let up until Sturtevant was safely in handcuffs. FBI special agents arrested him on December 31st as he was being released from a local medical facility. On Monday night, as Russ just said, the FBI's evidence response team conducted a search, an authorized search, at his home and on his cellular phone. What we found was a manifesto, which the federal complaint alleges contained detailed plans to execute a massacre on New Year's Eve as people shop, for the holidays. Without the swift action of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, New York City Police Department, the Mint Hill Police Department, and our partners at the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of North Carolina, we could be announcing a national tragedy. Instead, a terrorist attack was thwarted. Give a little background on Sturtevant. He's a U.S. citizen. He turned 18 in December of 2025. The JTTF collected evidence showing he turned his back on his country and his fellow citizens by pledging allegiance to ISIS with the intent of becoming a martyr. We allege Sturtevant was willing to sacrifice himself by committing a terrorist attack using knives and a hammer to support the murder, torture, and extreme violence that ISIS represents. We didn't just learn about him a few weeks ago. Sturtevant first came to the FBI's radar in January of 2022 when he was still a juvenile. He was in contact via social media with an unidentified ISIS member overseas. Sturtevant received direction from this unidentified ISIS member to dress in all black, knock on people's doors, and attack them with a hammer. In fact, Sturdivant did dress in all black. He left his house with a hammer, and fortunately, his family stepped in. Sturdivant, no charges were filed at that time. He was referred for psychological care, and he underwent psychological care, of which I don't know the details. The FBI was told he no longer had access to social media. On December 18th, a week prior to Christmas, the Charlotte field office learned it wasn't true, that he was now back on social media. After several FBI offices around this country and the New York Police Department alerted the Charlotte JTTF of a TikTok account username, Abu Bakr al-Amerki, who made multiple posts in support of ISIS. Sturdivant was identified as the account holder. And with federal search warrants, the FBI obtained his previous posts to assess the extent of threats to the homeland. But according to the complaint, on or about December 12th, Sturdivant began communicating with an individual on multiple social media platforms. Unbeknownst to Sturdivant, he was talking to a government online covert employee. Within just a few days, Sturdivant direct messaged the online covert employee with a picture of 2 hammers and a knife. The message was significant since in recent years, an ISIS propaganda magazine promoted the use of knives to conduct terrorist attacks in Western countries. The same ISIS magazine which suggested using vehicles to ram crowds, like the terrorist attack last year on New Year's Day on Bourbon Street. The conversations between the undercover employee and Sturdivant escalated further. Sturdivant allegedly sent a voice recording pledging Bayat, a loyalty oath to ISIS. And on December 20th, the direct messaging allegedly showed Sturdivant asking for help getting firearms, specifically weapons, guns, to carry out the terrorist attack at a food market here in Charlotte area. Thankfully, that did not occur. This investigation was conducted by several FBI field offices, the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, which includes the following members: the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, the Matthews Police Department, the Monroe Police Department, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the United States Customs and Border Protection, the Federal Air Marshal Service, Homeland Security Investigations, Internal Revenue Service, IRS-CI, the United States Postal Inspection Service, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Also, the NYPD, the FBI New York JTTF, the FBI Columbia Division, and the Mint Hill Police Department were instrumental in thwarting this attack. And of course, alongside our partners at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District of North Carolina, and the Department of Justice. This investigation highlights the very real threat posed by people who self-radicalize online and are inspired by jihadist ideologies espoused by foreign terrorist organizations. They seek to attack soft targets with easily accessible weapons and with little to no warning. To further complicate this threat, we have seen that most successful attackers radicalize in a time span of between 1 and 4 years, and they typically mobilize to act in less than 3 months. The FBI continues to work tirelessly to combat the threats of terrorism for the American people every day. But our partnerships are not limited to just law enforcement agencies. We rely on the communities we serve and encourage the public to contact law enforcement when they see or hear something that doesn't seem right. I also have this personal message. If your child, relative, friend, or neighbor is sliding into a dangerous ideology, you'll be the first to see it. And together we can stop it. The threats we face are bigger than any one law enforcement or intelligence agency, requiring everyone who hears this message to work together to keep people safe. I want to thank the members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force that sit over here today for their diligent effort. We spoke, I can't tell you the number of hours, and this is not an attaboy to the FBI or our partners. They worked nonstop for about 14 days, 24/7, digging through everything we had and keeping surveillance on this subject so we could intervene if he were to potentially attack. Through Christmas Eve, every single day, all weekend. So thank you for your commitment to keeping America safe. With that, turn it over to Mr. Ferguson for any questions you may have.
Well, thank you. And let me reiterate my thanks to the Joint Terrorism Task Force, to the Mint Hill Police Department, and of course to the prosecutors in my office who worked on this. So, Jennifer, yeah.
Jennifer from Spectrum News, North Carolina. Can you clarify where the planned attacks in Mint Hill, like which grocery store and which restaurant this was expected to take place at?
I don't believe it's public yet, which grocery store and which fast food restaurant. I can tell you they were in Mint Hill. And as the investigation moves forward, I'm sure that will become public, but it's not at this point. It's on still under investigation.
One more follow-up question.
Sure, of course.
Make sure I understood that correctly. Did you say that the arrest took place after he received medical attention? Did I hear that correctly?
No. So the FBI went to a state magistrate judge to try to get him involuntarily committed for medical attention, and it was denied by the state magistrate.
Thank you.
Whether he got medical attention after that, I don't know. Yes.
Hi, John Marusak from Charlotte Observer. I was wondering, why did the judge, magistrate, deny that?
We were not involved in the state court hearing. Obviously, we deal in federal court here. From what I understand, it was a very short hearing, and I don't know of any reasoning
And
given.
when was it?
That was Monday night,
Late Monday night.
In Mint Hill or Mecklenburg County, here in Charlotte, or,
Mecklenburg County. Correct.
thank you.
Hunter, yeah.
Hunter with Channel 9. Following up on that, Burger King is listed in the actual document with a grocery store nearby. The only grocery store nearby is Harris Teeter. Is that confirming it?
So the subject worked at Burger King.
Okay.
There, I believe, are a number of grocery stores within the vicinity,
Okay.
and we're not quite there on the exact plan of his attack, but you're on the right path.
Okay, and was this a lone wolf attack, or was there any connection to any other plots that have been foiled across the country here recently?
Yeah, that's a great question, and this subject was working alone, we believe, at this stage in the investigation, but what's interesting about that is he didn't think he was working alone. He had contacted two different members that he thought were ISIS and working with him, obtaining firearms for him. They happened to be undercover agents, so he was working alone, but it wasn't his intention to work alone. So, yeah, Kate.
Russ Katie with WVTV. You mentioned the grandfather had tried to prevent an attack before. Were they aware of his recent posts on social media? Did they know anything about his recent planned attacks at all from your investigation?
I don't have any indication the grandparents were aware of the social media posts. What we do know is that the grandfather secured the knives in the home, secured the hammers, tried to make sure that Mr. Sturdivant did not have them, and yet when we executed the search warrant, they were found under his bed. Thank you. Jen.
Jen Cardone from Queen City News. Just wondering if the grandparents are going to be facing anything or if they're cooperating with you on this. Obviously, they knew something was up, but did they do enough to be okay?
That's a great question. The grandparents have been interviewed, and our investigation's ongoing, and we'll see where it goes. But right now, and especially in the very urgent part of this, we've been focused on Mr. Sturdivant. Hunter, yeah.
In here before that 2022 where he went out to try to stab neighbors and his grandfather stopped him, it said that before that he had pledged allegiance to ISIS. Is there any reason why he wasn't charged? I know he was psychologically examined, but why didn't he face any charges for pledging an oath?
It's a great question. That was, and I'll let you weigh in on this too. I'll note that he was a juvenile at that time. He was 14. And I do think we're very fortunate he was 18 now because it makes it a whole lot easier to bring charges. I think you had something to add.
No, I think that covers it.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Diane.
Sorry, just following up on that too. Was that something known at the time in 2022 that he was trying to stab or kill a neighbor, or was that determined at a later investigation?
No. The FBI opened an investigation into Mr. Sturdivant in January of 2022. And we conducted a logical investigation. The case agents actually are sitting here today. And these same case agents picked up the investigation a couple weeks ago.
Are you all considering any other charges as well?
We're always considering additional charges. And so in this case in particular, because this is a very early and an ongoing investigation, we are certainly investigating and looking at other charges. whether that's a firearm charge or some other charge. Right now, we feel confident we have this charge, which is attempted material support of ISIS, but we'll see how the investigation unfolds from here.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Hunter.
I have a question for Chief
Of
Hatley,
course.
if you would.
Certainly.
I mean, we see this in parts of our country, but you never think it's your own city. This is Mint Hill that is now a thwarted ISIS terrorist attack. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Truly, I believe that's everyone's famous last words. It's never going to happen here. It will never, that can't be my neighbor. It can happen anywhere.
Yeah, Diane.
I know that he spoke with two undercover agents. Did he actually ever have any interactions, do we know of, with actual members of ISIS or terrorists or anything like that?
He was a prolific poster in social media, and he also went into various social media chat rooms and engaged with other people. We are leaving no stone unturned here. Our investigation is not over at all. We are looking to find out if there are any associates, if there are any friends, if there are any people he were working with, whether it's domestically here in the United States or overseas. We have ruled out additional threats from him in the United States. We are communicating with domestic and international partners for potential other avenues of investigation.
Russ, Katie again, we just saw that thwarted attack in Seattle as well. Should we be concerned about this becoming a persistent problem in the Western District of North Carolina?
I sure hope not. I mean, I think that we should feel comfort that the FBI was there and that this defendant not only encountered one undercover agent, but encountered two, one with NYPD and one with the FBI. Which I think shows you what's going on behind the scenes to protect the public. Of course, everyone should be vigilant. We all know the adage, if you see something, say something, which seems kind of ridiculous at this point, but it remains true. It's little things that sometimes bring these things to the attention of law enforcement, so I hope people will do that. And like Mr. Barnacle said, in situations like this, it's really family. It's family. And monitoring, especially your children's online presence, where this defendant was on TikTok, in chat rooms, communicating with people. So remain vigilant, but I think go to sleep feeling safe at night because law enforcement is there doing their job.
And just one more follow-up question. Historically, we have seen this targeting New Year's Eve events like we saw on Bourbon Street. We just finished the Truist Field celebrations. Do we know why he was targeting the grocery store chain at all, or is that not public yet?
We don't know why. I can tell you from my view, New Year's Eve is where the American way of life is on full display. We're celebrating how wonderful it is to be here and all that this country has given us. And I think for terrorists, that is a ripe opportunity to attack that way of life.
Yeah, we do have some intelligence that he was looking at a grocery store because there'd be a lot of people there. He knew there'd be a lot of people there grocery shopping, which is why we said that in our remarks. He was looking for a high-profile place. There's a couple grocery stores in Mint Hill. He wasn't set on just one. He was looking at multiple, whichever one had the most people in it.
Yeah.
Dan King with WCNC. So you mentioned that he was arrested on New Year's Eve, correct?
Correct.
What was the, setup for, because, if the attack was planning to happen on New Year's Eve and he was arrested, then what was the setup there to prevent that?
So we had multiple plans in place to make sure he was not a free man on New Year's Eve and could not cause public harm. And so that included the seeking an involuntary hold for mental health purposes, which was denied. Ultimately, the arrest was made on New Year's Eve to make sure that he was safely behind bars on New Year's Eve. We did that by getting a criminal complaint from a magistrate judge late in the evening, a federal magistrate judge, and that's why it set up this process where that was under seal until today. He had his initial appearance. He will still get a preliminary hearing where he could put on evidence to say there was probable cause or not to detain him, and a detention hearing where a judge will decide if he should be detained pre-trial.
So did you believe that the attack was hours or days away? Was there any anticipation there?
So we were concerned the attack could happen at any time, and I can tell you the FBI had 24/7 surveillance on this subject, all hours of night, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, time away from their families to make sure that the public was safe, and they were authorized to make an arrest if they needed to. If he were, if he were to leave the house with guns or knives or hammers, they were going to make a probable cause arrest. So at no point was the public in harm's way here.
And just to clarify, it was just the grandfather he stayed with at the residence?
No, there were other family members at the residence as well. There was a grandmother and I think some siblings and some other family there.
Okay.
threatened any of them?
I could tell you from his notes, he was targeting Jews, Christians, and LGBTQ individuals, and so you can infer from that his family was in harm's way. I think that's a safe assumption, but it is an assumption. So, yeah, Hunter.
Special Agent Barnacle, I know you have been investigating, your office has been investigating him since 2022, but with this recent incident here, or thwarted attack, was it that undercover NYPD officer that really blew all of this up for this latest case and put him back on y'all's radar?
Yeah, so let me clarify. When we opened the case in January 2022, we conducted a logical investigation. Once he was seeking mental health services and he was no longer on social media, we closed our investigation. So he was off of our radar. In December, we had contact from FBI field offices, two different offices, well, three FBI field offices, as well as the NYPD undercover. Kind of simultaneous. I'm not sure which came in first, but certainly the NYPD undercover had the most information, the most facts. I think one of our FBI offices came in first. We got that information. We started working it. We opened an investigation. But once we started talking to NYPD and the New York JTTF, we went full steam ahead. And this is a very compressed timeline. I want to say the FBI Washington field office reached out to us at night, and then the following morning we had that call with NYPD.
Can you just speak to what you can, how difficult this is to pull this off and thwart an attack like this?
Well, the FBI deals with threats every single day. Here in North Carolina, we get hundreds of viable or credible threats to life. And so our agents are really good at mitigating those threats, figuring out if they're credible and if the subject is capable of carrying out that threat. And so we go out and we do an investigation, a logical investigation. We often work with local police departments, and we go out and interview the person that posted different things. This one was different because this one was not only credible, but investigation revealed that the subject was capable of executing this attack. He was training, he was doing push-ups, calisthenics, fitness. He had stolen both of those knives. He hid them in his residence. His family had actively hid knives and weapons from him. He hid them. He wrote a manifest. He stole 2 hammers out of the storage shed and hid them in his house. He reached out to an undercover and requested guns. So all the different things are lining up that when your hair stands up on the back of your neck, that's not enough to charge. We still got to conduct an investigation. We still have to work with the U.S. attorney and prosecutors, and we still have to have a federal judge agree that there's probable cause to charge. These things are hard to do, but this is what we do.
Okay, that press conference coming to its conclusion as we speak. There's only about a minute left in that press conference, but just a critical discovery by the FBI, a work by the FBI that prevented a likely terrorist attack in Charlotte on New Year's Eve, or a potential terrorist attack, I should label it. FBI announcing that they disrupted a potential terrorist attack planned for New Year's Eve in North Carolina. An 18-year-old, a person who just turned 18, the alleged suspect in that attack, who was arrested. So that press conference coming to its conclusion following an event from a couple of days ago. Another press conference starting up right now as we speak in Chesapeake, Virginia. The newly elected sheriff, Wallace Chadwick, is being sworn in today in Chesapeake. We have a live camera at the swearing-in ceremony right now. So let's go live out to Chesapeake. We believe it has begun or is about to start. If we go live and it hasn't started just yet, we'll come back here in the studio. But let's at least take a listen in out in Chesapeake.
Which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we gather before your throne of grace in humility and gratitude for this honorable moment. For you are great, Lord, for there is none like you and there is no God beside you. This is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Father, we ask for your blessings upon this ceremony, upon Sheriff Chadwick as he stands ready to take the oath of office as our Sheriff, the city of Chesapeake. May your mighty presence fill this room. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. This is that long part of the program where I'd like to introduce some of our dignitaries, our elected officials, and special friends that are out there. First off, we do have a representative from Representative Jen Kagan's office from the U.S. House of Representatives. From the General Assembly, we do have Senator Christy Newcraig that's also with us today. Part of our Judge Corps, we do have the Honorable Rufus Banks Jr. with us. Thank you, sir. Constitutional officers, we have the Commissioner of Revenue, Victoria Prophet. Treasurer Corey Kring is also with us, our newly elected treasurer. From City Council, we have our Honorable Vice Mayor Debbie Ritters with us. Jeff Bunn, Councilmember Jeff Jeffries, Councilmember Amanda Newens, Councilmember Ella Ward, and Councilmember Daniel Whitaker. Some of our appointed officials, we do have with us today Deputy City Manager Kelvin Wright, as well as Deputy City Manager Bob Geis with us in attendance as well. From our awesome school board, from the Chesapeake School Board, we have Kim Scott, Elijah Colon, and Norman Poole. From our Fire Command staff, we have Fire Chief Sam Golisano with us as well. From our Police Command staff, we have Chief Mark Selesky that's in attendance with us. We have Deputy Chief Tracy Branch, Assistant Chief John Landfair, Assistant Chief Mark Heckler, Assistant Chief Cole, and from our Sheriff's Command staff, some of these folks are also newly appointed with us as well. We do, of course, have Sheriff Wallace Chadwick elect here with us today. We have Chief Deputy Randall Van, Captain Chase Higginbotham, Captain Dwayne McNair with us, Captain TJ Morgan with us, Captain Rich Scott, and Captain Brad Kirby as well. In addition, some additional guests. We also have some representatives, and we also have the sheriff here with us, Sheriff Rocky Holcomb from Virginia Beach Sheriff's Department, as well as Tina Mapes and some of his command staff. Also, we're blessed to have Jared Phelps, the Chief of Police from the Jacksonville, North Carolina Police Department. We also have representatives from the Charles City County Sheriff's Office with us as well. And as well, we also have retired U.S. House of Representatives J. Randy Forbes and his lovely wife, Shirley Forbes, is with us as well. And we also have Nick Profit, from the Virginia Attorney General's office with us in attendance. So a quick round of applause for all those. Thanks for being in attendance. And I'd be remiss if we didn't thank all our family, friends, and everybody else that got us through this finish line, which was pretty awesome over the past couple years. On behalf of the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, we appreciate your attendance as we celebrate the swearing in of Chesapeake, Virginia's next sheriff, Sheriff-elect Chadwick. Sheriff-elect was born in Portsmouth, raised in Chesapeake, and educated by our Chesapeake Public Schools here. After serving his country for 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, he came back, returned to his hometown, and served as a police officer for 26 additional years, while also earning his bachelor's degree while raising a family. I say this because he is a part of the woven fabric of the community that we call the city of Chesapeake. It is at this time that I'd like to welcome forward Sheriff-elect Chadwick's previous boss, that would be Police Chief Mark Selesky, to the podium for a couple keynote words. And it's a good thing that all the ballots have been counted after you hear this one.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Under Sheriff Callow, for the invitation to speak today. I want to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to Wallace Chadwick for his many years of dedicated service to the Chesapeake Police Department. For those of you who may not know the full scope of his career, Sheriff Chadwick served more than 25 years with the Chesapeake Police Department. As you'll see in the program, he worked as a patrol officer, a school resource officer, a training officer at our police academy, a gang suppression detective in our criminal intelligence unit, a police sergeant, the assistant director of training at our training academy, and ultimately as a police lieutenant. He also supervised our underwater search and recovery team, commonly known as our dive team, which is one of our most specialized and demanding units on the police department. These assignments, along with the many others he has taken on throughout his career, have prepared him exceptionally well for the responsibilities he now assumes as sheriff. If you were to ask someone what qualities would define a great sheriff, some might say strong leadership, deep integrity, a community-centered approach grounded in real-world experience, hands-on policing skills, strategic management ability, and genuine empathy that builds public trust. After working alongside Chad for the past 25 years, I can say with confidence that he embodies all these qualities. I have seen his honesty, fairness, and commitment to upholding the law, his ability to inspire others, set clear expectations, and guide both his peers and his subordinates, his empathy and dedication to serving the diverse needs of our community, his sound judgment in complex and high-stakes situations, and his willingness to collaborate with other agencies and community partners for the greater good. His extensive street-level experience, combined with his administrative and leadership capabilities, makes him exceptionally well-suited for this position. Today, we congratulate Sheriff Wallace Chadwick for becoming only the 5th person to serve as the sheriff of the city of Chesapeake. I look forward to the strong working relationships our two departments will continue to build. Collaboration between the police department and the sheriff's office is essential to comprehensive public safety. When our residents see our agencies working in coordination with each other, it reinforces their confidence in the safety and stability of our city. And when we expand that collaboration to include the fire department as well, we create a stronger, more resilient public safety network for everyone in Chesapeake. I believe I can speak for Fire Chief Golisano when I say, Sheriff Chadwick, welcome to the Chesapeake Public Safety Team in your new role. I am confident that your decisions will be guided by wisdom, your actions by fairness, and your leadership by a deep respect for those you serve. I have no doubt about your commitment to this city to lead with honesty, to serve with integrity, and carry out your duties with honor. May your term be marked by your demonstrated professionalism and a continued partnership with the community. On behalf of the Chesapeake Police Department, we extend our heartfelt congratulations and look forward to a strong and productive partnership between the Chesapeake Police Department and the Chesapeake Sheriff's Office as we continue working together to keep Chesapeake an exceptional place to live, learn, work, farm, and play. Congratulations, Sheriff.
Thank you, Chief Selesky. At this time, I'd like to bring forward Sheriff-elect Chadwick and Judge Banks for the administration of the oath of office. And while they're coming forward, since 1999, Judge Banks has served on the bench in the Chesapeake Juvenile Relations Court and currently sits on the bench of the Chesapeake Circuit Court. Unbeknownst to Judge Banks, he actually had a fond piece in developing some of the leadership principles in our future sheriff. When Sheriff-elect Chadwick was a young school resource officer, it became widely known amongst the SRO that Judge Banks ran a well-oiled courtroom and one should never be late for court in his courtroom. Even in the smallest of ways, it is always being taught by others. We're always being taught by others. So joining us for the administration of oath and the pinning of the badge directly after for our newly elected sheriff is his wife, Nicole Chadwick.
I, Wallace W. Chadwick III. I, Wallace W. Chadwick III. Solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will uphold the constitutions of
discharge my duties
as Sheriff of the City of Chesapeake,
as Sheriff of the City of Chesapeake
for a 4-year term,
for a 4-year term,
commencing January 1st, 2026,
commencing January 1st, 2026,
and I shall do so to the best of my ability.
and I shall do so to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And now we'll have the pinning of the badge. Hopefully she doesn't stab him. Thank you, Judge Banks and Ms. Chadwick. And now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce the Sheriff of Chesapeake, Sheriff Wallace Chadwick III.
Thank you guys so much for being here today, and I can't tell you what a long road this has been. Some of you lived it with us, but before I get to my remarks, everybody in here had a part in this, whether you knew it or not, whether it's you helped form me as a leader, as a person, to my family who has helped shape me over the many years, the good family values that we hold in the Chadwick and Howard, our family. I just can't thank everybody enough for the part that you played in getting us here today. And I promise you, I won't let you down. Citizens of Chesapeake, distinguished guests, and the brave men and women of the Chesapeake Sheriff's Office and our fellow law enforcement and public safety partners. A few moments ago, I placed my hand on the Bible and I took an oath. The oath was not just a legal formality. It was a covenant, a sacred promise between myself and the 250,000 neighbors who call this city home. Standing here today, I am humbled by the trust you have placed in me. But more than that, I am reminded that the office of the sheriff does not belong to me. It belongs to you. And today, we return it to the people with a renewed sense of duty. To understand where we are going, we must respect where we came from. Our city was born from a bold decision. In 1963, the citizens of Norfolk County and the city of South Norfolk chose to come together. They chose unity over division. They chose to merge their strengths to build something greater than the sum of its parts. They adopted a motto that is etched into the very city seal that we have: one increasing purpose. That motto is not just history, it is our marching orders. We also stand on soil that knows the cost of freedom. Just a few miles from here, at the Battle of Great Bridge in 1775, patriots stood their ground against overwhelming odds. They didn't fight for glory. They fought for their neighbors. They fought for their future. Today, we fight a different kind of battle. We fight to maintain trust in an era of skepticism. We fight to ensure safety in a growing, complex city. So let me be clear about the direction of this agency moving forward. My administration will be built on 3 non-negotiable pillars: transparency, teamwork, and positive change. First, transparency. Transparency is not just about body cameras or budget reports, though we will have those. It's about a mindset. It means admitting when we are wrong and working twice as hard to make it right. It means that the doors of this office are open to the community, not just when you're in crisis, but also when you have questions. You deserve to know how your sheriff's office operates, and under my watch, you will. Second is teamwork. To the deputies and staff standing and sitting in this room, you were the backbone of this operation. I know the sacrifices that you make day in and day out. I know the missed birthdays. I know the long shifts. But I also know this: a sheriff is nothing without his team. We are going to lead from the front, but we are going to work side by side. I am not here to be a boss. I am here to be a leader. And leadership means ensuring that you have the training, the resources, and the mental health support you need to do this difficult job. We will take care of each other so that we can take care of this city. And finally, positive change. We cannot drive forward by looking in the rearview mirror. One increasing purpose means we must constantly evolve. Positive change means we look for new ways to reduce recidivism in our jails. It means we will expand our community outreach, not just waving from a parade float, but listening to your concerns before they become a crisis. It means modernizing our approach so that we are not just enforcers of the law, but pillars of the community. The merger of 1963 taught us that we are stronger together. The Patriots of Great Bridge taught us that resilience wins the day. Today, we honor that legacy. We move forward, not as separate neighborhoods, not as Great Bridge, South Norfolk, Deep Creek, or Western Branch, but as one Chesapeake. I am ready to work. I am ready to serve. And I'm asking you to join me. Let us move forward with that one increasing purpose: to make this city safer, fairer, and stronger for every single person that calls it home. Thank you, and may God bless the city of Chesapeake.
And I also have one special presentation. We have the certificate of election that will be presented by Ms. Susan Cobb, the Secretary of the Chesapeake Electoral Board. Ms. Cobb?
It's official.
On behalf of the Chesapeake Electoral Board and the State Board of Election, I am so proud to present you with your certificate of election.
And if everybody could please stand, and if you're able, for the benediction by Chaplain Jeff Cox.
Thank you. I am honored to say this prayer over you, Sheriff. Let us pray. Father God in heaven, as Sheriff Chadwick steps into this responsibility as the sheriff of the city of Chesapeake, our sheriff, we ask that your hand would rest upon him with strength, wisdom, and unwavering courage. Lord, continue to bless him with discernment to choose what is right, continued compassion to see each person as one made in your image, and continued integrity that stands firm when pressures arise. Lord, protect him and go before him in every decision. Be beside him in every challenge and behind him as his shield and rear guard. May his leadership bring peace where there is unrest, justice where there is wrong, and hope where there is fear. Lord, we commit him into your care. May your favor rest upon him, your spirit guide him, and your grace sustain him every day. Now, may you, the God of hope, fill us all with joy and peace as we trust in you, so that we may overflow with hope by the power of your Holy Spirit. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen.
It's an awesome sight seeing all our friends, family, and the wonderful citizens of Chesapeake here with us. On behalf of the Chesapeake Sheriff's Office, please have a happy and prosperous new year. Everyone's also welcome to join us for fellowship, refreshments, and snacks just in the lobby. And the awesome cupcakes are provided by Kimberly Combs of the Office of Emergency Management from the Chesapeake Fire Department. Thank you.
Okay, back here in the studio, as it appears as though the oath for, or I guess the swearing-in ceremony for the new Sheriff of Chesapeake, Wallace Chadwick, has concluded. We'll have full coverage of everything that went into today on our 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock shows from reporter Madison Schlegel after checking in on that event live. Now, we have the mayor-elect of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, who was recently sworn in, has just taken the podium at a press conference in New York City. Can we pull this up live as we wait for him to start speaking? And while we wait, I'm going to just relay a quick note on something we have been covering quite intently for the duration of 2025. And that is the Affordable Care Act subsidies or premium tax credits, which help to lower or eliminate out-of-pocket cost of monthly premiums for those who purchase coverage through the health insurance marketplace. We've been talking about how those subsidies would expire at the end of December if an extension was not agreed upon by Congress. That extension has not occurred. And so those monthly insurance premiums have in fact expired as we are here on July 2nd. They were a sticking point during the government shutdown. That government shutdown was the longest that we have ever had, and those premium tax credits have officially expired. In January, the House is expected to vote on a Democrat-led bill that would see the enhanced premium tax credits extended by 3 years, but as of right now, they have expired. Okay, let's go live out to New York City. I guess officially Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who has taken to the podium.
Conventional wisdom said that our campaign was not supposed to work. Surely there was a better way to spend a Saturday than knocking on doors, talking to strangers, and crossing the small but real distances that separate us from one another. And yet, New Yorkers showed up at a moment when so many people feel isolated from one another and distant from a political system that can feel closed or unresponsive. They made a deliberate choice, not to be bystanders, but to become participants. Their own politics and their own vision for New York City being the driving force behind what they were going to do. And that meant knocking on doors of people who lived just blocks away but whom they had never met. It meant asking questions instead of assuming answers. It meant listening instead of lecturing, finding common ground. And that experience taught us something simple and profound. Democracy works best when people are not treated as an audience, but as an active part of it. Governing demands the same. That is why we are here today. We are gathered at Grand Army Plaza, surrounded by powerful symbols of public life. The central branch of the Brooklyn Public Library, designed like an open book, a statement that knowledge should be shared and accessible to all. The Soldiers and Sailors Arch, a Civil War monument honoring those who fought in a war waged for a new birth of freedom and the expansion of democracy itself. Prospect Park. Public space built not to be exclusive or ornamental, but to be shared. These are reminders of a belief that once guided this city, that public infrastructure should be generous, beautiful, and open. But a city is not held together by buildings alone. It is held together by trust and by whether people feel connected to the decisions that shape their life. That social infrastructure has been neglected for too long. Too often, engagement is fragmented or symbolic. Too often, people are asked for input, but never see how it shapes outcomes. Today, that changes. With the signing of this executive order, we will be establishing the Mayor's Office of Mass Engagement. A fundamental part of city government dedicated to rebuilding our social infrastructure at scale. This office, combining and reorienting the existing Community Affairs Unit, Public Engagement Unit, and other initiatives, starts from a simple premise. Working New Yorkers know what they need to thrive. Our job is to make sure government listens, consistently and with real consequence. The Office of Mass Engagement will organize participation across this city, proactively reach those that have been excluded, and ensure that public feedback is embedded directly into how we design policies, deliver services, and make decisions. And to lead this work, I am proud to announce that Tasha Van Auken will serve as commissioner. Since President Obama's first campaign in 2008 to her leadership in New York City DSA, Tasha has spent more than a decade organizing at scale, developing leadership, building trust, and helping working people turn priorities into action. On our campaign, she mobilized more than 100,000 volunteers who knocked on more than 3 million doors. Not just to win an election, but to build leadership and a real sense of community across this city. She also spent many years working at the Blue Man Group, which means she brings both organizing discipline and an unusual tolerance for chaos. The Office of Mass Engagement reflects how we intend to govern, with humility, openness, and a firm belief that democracy is strongest when it belongs to the people, not just in theory, but in practice. And we should be clear about how this work will be judged, not by how many meetings we hold or surveys we collect, but by whether people can see their voices reflected in the decisions that we make. Judge us by whether engagement changes outcomes. Just as past generations invested in the public spaces around us, this administration is investing in the civic fabric that holds our city together. And that same commitment to openness, participation, and rebuilding trust in our institutions guides how we approach every part of city government. That is why today I am also announcing that Ali Najmi will serve as chair of the Mayor's Advisory Committee on the Judiciary. Under Ali's leadership, this committee will take on a more public and engaged role, reaching beyond City Hall to the wider legal community, demystifying the judicial selection process, expanding who participates in shaping our courts, and ensuring that our city's judicial system applies the rule of law universally and does so without favor. This includes proactive engagement with legal services organizations, bar associations, and minority and affinity bars, with the goal of widening the pipeline and strengthening confidence in our judiciary. Ali is a civil rights and election attorney with deep experience in our local courts, a longtime bar association leader who has helped diversify the judiciary in Queens, and someone I've known and admired for more than a decade, as a friend, an attorney, and a leader in this city. Tasha Van Auken, Ali, welcome to a new era in our city. I look forward to building it with you together.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you to everyone who's here today. As a kid growing up in Park Slope and later Flatbush, the Brooklyn Public Library, this branch, was a constant in my life. Its soaring facade and open entrance felt like an invitation, a promise that knowledge, curiosity, and possibility belong to everyone. I spent hours inside of there researching school papers, scrolling through microfilm, not to date myself here, but lots of time with microfilm, trying to make sense of the world and my place in it. I didn't know it then, but I was learning something essential. That when public spaces are built with care and openness, they don't just serve cities, they help shape the people who move through them. That lesson deepened for me at Edward R. Murrow High School, where I was profoundly influenced by the late principal Saul Bruckner. He believed fiercely in young people and in the role public institutions can play in helping them find their voice. He taught generations of students that they mattered and that participation wasn't reserved for someone else. And yet, despite that early confidence, I spent many years trying to figure out how to engage politically in a way that felt meaningful, something that went beyond a one-off protest or a single campaign, but built power over time. That clarity started during the first presidential campaign of Barack Obama. It was there that I learned the transformative power of relationships, from learning alongside volunteer leaders to the simple but powerful act of canvassing a stranger. What I learned in 2008 stayed with me through organizing with the New York City Democratic Socialists of America and later serving in government as Chief of Staff to Assemblywoman Farah Souffrant-Forrest. I kept returning to the same question. How do we build participation that lasts, where people don't just show up once, but develop the confidence and the relationships to shape real outcomes? That question came into sharp focus this past year. In Mayor Mamdani's campaign, more than 100,000 volunteers knocked on over more than 3 million doors across the city. But those aren't abstract numbers. They represent millions of conversations between neighbors who might never otherwise have met. They represent relationships built, confidence gained, and civic capacity that will last beyond any single campaign. Many of those incredible volunteers and organizers are standing with us today and everywhere. You all changed New York City, and I'm so grateful to you. At a time when so many people feel cynical, overwhelmed, or isolated, often alone with their phones, we found a way back to one another. Some of the most meaningful moments for me were when somebody would say, "I never thought of myself as political," and then describe the community and purpose that they found through this work. In many cases, it didn't just change how they saw politics, it changed how they saw themselves. That is what brings me to this role and to the work of the Office of Mass Engagement. The Office of Mass Engagement is about taking that ethos and making it part of how government works. It brings together public engagement efforts that have too often been siloed, streamlining them under a single coordinated office with the responsibility to make engagement meaningful across City Hall. It's about organizing participation at scale, strengthening feedback loops so public input shapes policy, and building the relationships and systems, human and digital, that make long-term co-governance possible. As Commissioner, my commitment is simple and serious: to help build a government that works for all New Yorkers, invites them in, and treats their participation as consequential. A government that doesn't just ask for input, but acts on it, and one that helps New Yorkers see themselves not as spectators, but as co-creators of our shared future. I'm deeply honored to take on this responsibility, and I'm excited to build this work alongside the mayor, our partner agency, and most importantly, the people of this city. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Mr. Mayor, thank you for appointing me to be your chair of this advisory committee on the judiciary. As an attorney who has litigated in the courts of this city for 15 years, I know and I have seen firsthand the power that judges have on people, regular people, working people, and attorneys. And it is this committee's directive to find and recruit the best judges in the city of New York, the most qualified, the ones who understand what it means for people to appear before them in criminal court, in family court. And it is the directive of this committee to reach out to the wider legal community and to the attorneys who have toiled for indigent legal services, for the attorneys who have represented families, who have represented parents and children in family court, who have dedicated their life to making this city and this state a more just place. To those attorneys, I want to tell you that you have an opportunity to also become a judge, and that this committee will reach out to every nook and cranny of this legal community to encourage that we have the best, most robust, diverse applicant pool for the judiciary. Mr. Mayor, thank you for entrusting me with this service.
All the way down in the front. You're gonna stand there, you gotta crouch.
All right, guys, get down. Everybody gets the shot. I'm gonna go on my head. Want someone to squeeze in the middle here?
Yellow backpack down, please. Go, everybody down. Down. Still.
Can everyone go down? Thank you.
All right, back here in the Live Impact News studio after that announcement from New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Now we're going to go to, that was a live press conference. We're going to go now to another pre-recorded press conference from actually just before we started our stream today. It was about an 8-year-old who was trapped for a short period of time and was ultimately rescued. This is an update on that story. Let's listen into this press conference from earlier today.
Because this would you from Tennessee first. The other side here. Richard is here. Step forward, please. County executive is going to start off with our theft part. Then we're taking a full break, and then when we reset, then we'll do the other one. So, all right, hold on.
I think that one someone wanted it down.
What's that?
Yeah, that's
Oh, is that good, guys?
Okay, good. Let me know when you're ready and we'll start.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, well, we just celebrated the holiday of Christmas, which is also a religious holiday for those who are Christians, recognizing the birth of Christ. And usually there's a manger that is demonstrated, for the religious people. And in the manger, there's the baby Jesus. Well, sadly to say, we have, and we recognize all religions and work with all religions in Suffolk, but here in Suffolk, we're distressed to know that in the manger that we set up at the H. Lee Dennison building, the baby Jesus was stolen. So we're going to ask for people's help to help return the baby Jesus, because that definitely is not in the spirit of Christmas. We want to make sure that we can honor and recognize all the religions, be it Muslim, Jewish, Christian, but in this case, the Christian religion, to steal the baby Jesus during Christmas, that's not a cool thing to do. And we're asking for help in returning the baby Jesus so that we can continue in future Christmases to celebrate for those who are Christian his birth on Christmas Day. Commissioner, you want to address this, Steph?
Yes, thank you, County Executive Romaine. So between...
Hey, buddy, you stand right over
You stand
here
next to the commissioner. You're the star today, all right?
Yeah. All right, buddy.
All right, so Commissioner's going to open it up, then we'll take a second break. We're going to watch the body cam, and then we'll come back, okay? Let me just sneak by you guys. All right, when you're ready, Commissioner.
All right, you guys ready? All right, well, while many were home enjoying Christmas with their loved ones, our officers were away from theirs on patrol, ensuring the safety of residents. So when we received a call at 1 p.m. on Christmas about a boy who had fallen through the ice in an East Patchogue apartment complex pond, we were ready. 8-year-old Tavon, right here, fell through the ice while attempting to walk across the partially frozen pond. The water reached his chest, and the icy conditions made it difficult for him to get out, if not impossible to get out. 5th Precinct officers James Rizzo and Andrew Torelli entered the pond and attempted to throw a life ring, but were unable to pull Tavion out. Then Highway Sergeant Michael Santillo, who was on patrol nearby, joined the 5th Precinct officers in the rescue attempt. Sergeant Santillo slid across the ice, and with the assistance of the 2 officers, helped bring the child to safety. Fortunately, Tavion was not injured. I want to thank Officers Rizzo and Torelli and Sergeant Santillo for their quick and courageous response, especially on a holiday. Their actions ensured that the situation was handled safely and efficiently. Tavion is here today with us to thank the officers. While this story has a happy ending, far too often the ending can be different. As the temperatures hover around freezing this time of year, it's important to remember to stay off the ice. And really, you have to remember that no ice is safe. So, go to a rink, but please, stay off the ponds. In a moment, we're going to show you the footage of the body-worn cameras that the rescue highlights the challenging conditions of the officers' efforts. I thank all involved for their professionalism and dedication. Their swift response ensured a safe outcome for all involved. So we're going to show you the video now. You're going to see yourself on camera, buddy. That's you in the middle of that. All right, we're going to obviously have to do this again. You can hear Tavion yelling freedom there, so. Tavion, come on up here.
All right, come on up here for a
We
second.
might have some
You know
questions
what?
for you.
Hold on 1 second. Sir, can we put this up here behind the podium if he wants to go up there for the, want to stand up here?
Want to stand up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
Want
on,
to
bud.
stand up
Want
on
to
the
stand
chair?
right up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, stand up. There you go. There he is. All right.
Let me just move this a little closer for you.
Yeah, so you don't fall.
Okay? All right. Do you guys have any questions?
I do. What was it like? Were you feeling scared? How did you feel?
Scared.
Was the water warm?
No, it's cold.
And you were there for a while.
No, 20 minutes.
Wow.
Will you do it again?
Don't
No.
go out on the ice.
You won't do that again?
What would you say to your friends about going out on the ice?
No.
What do you have to say, you know, when you saw the officers and the sergeant, what did you want to, do you have anything you want to say to them?
How about thank you?
Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.
Hey, hold on one second. Do me one favor. Look out there and say,
Don't walk on the ice.
one more time, buddy.
Do not walk on the ice.
All right, thank you. Now, don't go anywhere, buddy, but you can get off this chair. Oh, sorry. Hold on, buddy. We are. Okay.
Why don't we step down off the...
Oh, you want to ask him another question? All right, buddy. Come over here. Okay, he's got a question for you.
Is it Trayvon or
Tavion.
Tavion.
So what, you should look up here. Just talk about, were you scared when you fell in? What were you
Scared.
You said freedom.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Hey.
Good job, good job. Second grade or third grade?
Third grade.
Third grade. Oh, wow, okay.
You're doing good.
Okay, hold on one second. County Executive, you can step up. We've got some proclamations for everyone. Plus, let me point out, these are from Legislative Thorn. Let me move this out of here. Thank you, Commissioner.
Well, we are going to give these police officers proclamation commending them for what I'd like to say is a Christmas miracle. This happened on Christmas Day. And you know how cold it was Christmas Day. And he tried to go out on the ice, and he fell through. All three of these officers fell through the ice. They were all soaked. But they knew what their mission was, to make sure that we got this young man home to his mom and to make him safe and sound. As soon as they got him out, went into an ambulance and went to Brookhaven Hospital, which is now NYU Langone, Suffolk. And they took a look at him, got him ready to go home, and he was home for Christmas. Home for Christmas, and saved by 3 police officers that were willing to jump in a pond on a freezing cold day, break the ice, and rescue a young man. Officers, these are for you. This is what I'm giving you, officers. See, this looks nice. It says nice things. And Officer Rizzo. Andrew, congratulations. And we have one for each one of you. Oops. Your notes are here, by the way.
Those are your notes, sir.
Oh, okay. I didn't see them. Andrew. Michael.
Thank you.
And last but not least, James. These are officers that risked their life. All 3 of them fell through the ice, but they knew what their mission was, to save a young man. But he's absolutely right. If there's one message, besides what a great thing to happen on Christmas, to make sure that he was safe, the other message is don't go out on the ice, right?
Yes,
Don't go out on the ice. You can say it. Right?
Don't go out on the ice.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, the officers, could you step up towards the podium?
Why don't we step down?
That's okay, just step off to the side, sir.
Okay.
So who responded first in kind of chronological order of like what happened?
These 2 guys responded, and then the sergeant came.
Okay, so who got, you know, did you say, oh boy, we've got an important call? Every call is important, obviously. But at what point did you realize, you know, and you could look forward, at what point did you realize every second matters?
So, when we got that call of the child falling through the ice, you kind of don't really analyze it too much. You just hear, you know, someone needs help. So we rushed there. Luckily, we weren't too far. My partner, James Rizzo, and myself responded as fast and safely as we could. Luckily, we were able to get there. When I was driving there, my partner was able to take his gun belt off on the way there. Should we, have to go into the pond? And when we got there, we saw, Tavion in the water in distress. So my partner already had his gun belt off. I secured my gun belt in the trunk, and then the rest was just focusing on getting him home safe. And thanks to Sergeant Santillo, we were able to do so.
How long was he in the water for? Do you know?
I'm not sure how quick the 911 call transpired to dispatch and to us receiving it, but I know that once.
Several minutes?
At least 7 minutes.
Both of the scene and what do you see? If we could have your partner
Yep.
discuss.
You guys just say your names for us.
Pick the mic up, guys.
You gonna raise the mic?
Perfect, thank you.
We got there and we saw like a crowd of people on the side of the water. One guy actually had a tow rope. So when I grabbed the life ring, tied it off, and then that's when we tried to throw it to him. And then when we got it to him, that's when Sergeant got there. He was able to get on top of the ice, get across, and get to him.
Can you describe how Tavion looked, what he was saying?
He was basically just get me out of here. That's really it.
And what were you guys saying to him? I don't know if I heard it correctly. You guys kept asking him what his name
We're
was.
trying to get his name just to calm him down, make sure he's able to talk, because if he's able to talk, we could kind of think things out a little more than rather rush in, break all the ice, and then he falls through.
So what happens when you get to the ice? You're actually throwing things, but is the ice breaking underneath you?
Yes, the ice, as soon as I went in, the ice just broke underneath me.
Shocking.
A neighbor called 911, correct?
Not sure who made the call. There was a lot of people outside when we got there, so.
Sergeant, when you show up?
So when I got there, they were throwing him the life ring. At one point, they got it right to him, and I was like, okay, they might have got him, but he was like, I can't hold on to it. So at that point, I was like, I'm just going to go get him. So I crawled out on the ice. When I got to him, I actually fell through the ice, and I was able to stand. So I just grabbed him, and I started making my way to shore. Eventually, I passed the boy off, and he went straight into the ambulance. And I got a plastic blanket to cover my police car seat, so I didn't get it wet. And I basically drove straight home, hopped in the shower. I even threw all my clothes in the wash and responded right back to work.
Can you get that call, Sarah, an adrenaline rush that you have to get there fast, it's a child?
I've been doing this for almost 25 years, not really. You got to stay calm to help people.
Training that went into this. Are you guys trained for this kind of stuff?
Yes. I believe Suffolk County Police are one of the best trained police officers in the country, by far.
Can you just talk about the conditions that you guys had to deal with?
Was it cold? Did you feel the cold? Was your adrenaline,
Cold. I didn't feel the cold at all. Not even after I got out.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't have an adrenaline rush. I was just calm.
Was it cold?
I'm going to say yes. There's ice on it.
I didn't feel the cold. You typically feel cold at home.
Not really, actually.
While you guys were rescuing Tavion, were you guys thinking of anybody else, anybody in your family, any children in your family that really brought you to the moment where you were like, you really got to rescue him, you got to go and make the sacrifice to go on?
I have 5 children. I'm not going to say that I was thinking about them, but anybody who's in need of help, I'm going to help them, whether I'm working or not. That's just the personality that police officers have. You don't think, you act. You go and do the rescue. You go in the burning building. You get in the water and try and help people.
And moments like this where you get a chance to actually receive thank you from the family, knowing your efforts are the reason why they're here today, that's got to be invigorating for you.
It's nice, yes, but I don't do it for thank yous. it's our job.
That's a strong hand. Nobody
Say your
move,
names
okay?
for us, just so we have the names.
Okay, so quite the press conference right there. A rescue on a frozen pond of an 8-year-old. Multiple messages there. Don't walk on the ice. That is the main message to take away from this, other than the courage and bravery both of that kid and the officers that were involved in the rescue. Okay, we've only got about a minute and a half here left on Live Impact News today. Let's take a look around Hampton Roads, a very brief look around Hampton Roads. We weren't able to get a forecast for you guys on the stream today, so instead we'll just take a look at how it is outside right now. I mean, it looks beautiful from here. I know when I walked in this morning it was cold, but not painfully cold. But it looks quite nice out right now. There is certainly no precipitation in any of our tower cams, and it looks relatively clear out there. You see a boat out on the water at the Norfolk Botanical Garden. You've got some people walking around, quite a few people walking around Norfolk Botanical Garden, actually. The sun is shining, some clouds in the sky, but it's not overwhelming. Out here in Town Center in Virginia Beach, the fair weather continues. So it appears to be, at least for now, a nice day out. And look at all the people on the boardwalk. Quite a few people walking around the boardwalk today. We got some cyclists, people eating outside. So a nice day as we start 2026 and a very nice stream. Thank everybody for joining us today. We will see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.